Welcome back everyone to Wandering in the Wildwood, where today we are going to find those herbs and also take care of that copper ore that we skipped last time. But while we're at it, last time we did do the feathers and gather the meat and the hides. I thought we could do a couple of the others in here, perhaps the poisoned critters. Urgent! Small critters within the wildwood are being poisoned by the tar crypt orcs. No, we can't have that, so cure poisoned critters in the wildwood. And maybe one more just to fill this up. Baiting the traps. Needed empty traps filled with bait in the wildwood to catch small game. Right, so collect some bait and I guess to bait some traps after that. So let's head to the wildwood and take care of these little chores. After all that trouble that I have with the roots coming out of Trestle Bridge, I decided I was going to approach from the Trader's Wharf instead. Fortunately, I do have a port here, and it looks like it's fortunate that I did because either the bait is here or there's a bait box in Trestle Bridge that I completely missed, and that there might be one in both of them. But now that I have bait, I can actually place bait in the empty traps. It appears that the 4 quests I selected are all scattered about in completely different areas. No overlaps in there. I think the first one is over here. See if I can do this without having to tangle with the Earthkin. And this would be for the herbs. The question is, though, where are these herbs? I am way down here near the delves. And I'm not too sure whether the herbs are up or down or whatever. But they need to be somewhere. Aha! I think I found one right here. Yep, there it is. Oh, I walked past it. A wild herb, though not quite as wild as that tree is, but wild enough for the quest line at least. Alright, so let's gather 10 of these, and then we can look for the second location where I have to choose one of the other 3 to go. Probably I'll go for whichever one is the closest. And preferably one that doesn't include lots and lots of wasps. Actually, there is one thing about these wasps, though, is that if you haven't done the sickle fly deed on your character yet, the sickle fly deed for Breland, they do count for as Breland sickle flies. Don't ask me why, they definitely aren't flies, but I guess they decided it's a flying insect, so they will count it anyway. Besides, who's going to argue with making a deed a little bit easier to complete, especially when it's a particularly annoying one, such as killing sickle flies in Breland? So, I'll kill a few wasps along the way, as I look for more herbs. Any more around here? That said, I think it would be nice, though, if the flies you encounter in Trouble in Tuckborough would count for the sickle fly deed over in the Shire. I mean, it would be nice because it's really, really nice if they would do that. I know, the deed says harvest flies, but okay, fine. You want me to fight you before I collect these? I think that's my first piece of copper there. But I think that they're going to be a little liberal with the definition of a sickle fly over in here in the Wildwood. Why can't they be, ouch, a little liberal with the definition of a harvest fly over on in the Shire? It'd be nice. And believe me, that harvest fly quest really does have need for a little things make it a little bit easier. Hunt wild game in Helva's Edge. Oh, this is that daily thing that I did before. Well, if I run into wild game here, perhaps, but that's not going to be the key thing to complete here. The question is there how much copper there is around here? Our next stage is to bait some traps. Fortunately, I did run into that bait when I stopped by the wharf. The question is, where are the traps? Because I don't see any yet, but I'm sure they are hidden in here. In fact, most likely they're hidden to make it less likely that anyone that wanders by will notice it before they fall into it. At least I assume that's why I'm missing all of these things. Traps. Where are the traps? Oh. I hope that's one I haven't done yet. Perhaps I'm a little bit too far to the north, or where I'm doing all of my trips in here. No, those are branches. Now I just need to cap off the set by curing some poisoned critters, though how I'm going to manage to do that, I have no idea, though I think getting near wargs is probably not going to be a way of doing it. I'm pretty sure they're not asking me to cure poisoned wargs. I just have a feeling on that. Ah! Quest rings! Perhaps they lead to poisoned critters. Like a poisoned squirrel. There you go. And that will mean that this quest ring is almost certainly to be another poisoned critter. A poisoned frog. Okay. So we have a frog, we have a squirrel, and over here we have a poisoned turtle. Not too sure I used the word critter for that large of a turtle, but alright. What I am concerned about, though, is this warg rider here. I wasn't too happy that I decided to enter that combat almost right next to a wolf. Yeah, it sounds like a warg rider. You're not getting that off. No, siree. Back here, away from the wolf. Thank you. Now, let's cure a poisoned turtle. Ah, here is our fourth critter. Not the crow here, but this. It is a bird. It's just says bird. It doesn't say what type of bird. So if you're good at identifying various bird types, I guess you tell me what type of bird I just cured. Now there are two more of them. Ah, the last two are pretty close to one another. Let's make sure that they're not close to bears or something like this. We have a poisoned fox. Looks like we have 6 different types of critters here that are poisoned. Now, what is this that is in the way here? A wolf. Well, let's deal with a wolf. Then we'll see what happens. Because maybe that wolf was eyeing the critter that we're about to cure and thinking whether or not it would make a good lunch. I was thinking it's poisoned. Maybe I don't want it. Maybe it'll poison me. He took it, so just chose not to. Yeah, look at this. A rabbit. I am sure that wolf was, because wolves, I'm pretty certain, will think that a rabbit is delicious. There you go. Ooh. And that even completed a deed of some sort. Completed quests. Well, that was... Oh, I've got 3 more of those to do. Oh, that must be a... Oh, new deed. Completed deed quest in the Wildwood. Deed completed. Complete mini quests in the Wildwood, 30 of 30, right? And the new deed. Oh, quests in the Wildwood, 104. Complete quests in the Wildwood. Boy, that's really confusing. He's going to say complete the League of the Axe, complete the Woodcutters Brotherhood, and complete missions the Wildwood. Well then, I'm going to have to complete each of those things then. I suspect that the one of the two, the League of the Axe or the Woodcutters Brotherhood, is going to require me to finish a certain quest from the Ent that seems to be a little bit bugged at the moment. That's keeping me from getting any progress. But I'm just going to have to assume that they will fix that someday. Preferably before I finish this series. In checking my log here, the League of the Axe, that requires you to complete 15 quests. Now, is that 15 specific quests, or do repeatables count on it? So I should do a few on that. And the Woodcutters Brotherhood, I have 12 of 15. So if I do some of the dailies here, does that mean they will count for that? There's only one way to find out there. And of course, missions, I'm obviously going to have to run a few of those. I haven't done any of those yet on this character, since the missions are something I'm doing in another series. But if I want to complete that deed, I'll obviously have to do it at some point. But let's see. Oh, first thing I want to do is to place these into the box here. That should take care of 2 more quests. All right. Now, I expect that that did not count for either of those 2 deeds, right? Because this is still at 12, and the League of the Axe is still at 10 of 15, right? Because those were to satisfy complete quests in the Wildwood. That's for neutral ones that don't count for either of the 2. So it's a separate deed there. Now, let's say if I did this to... Alright, how about this? Assisting the reconstruction.
Would you do something for me?
So just pick up a few wood scraps, and I'll go about, pick up the wood scraps, turn that in, and I'll find out if that advances that deed. Because if that does, then I think that I won't need to finish the Ent quest line in order to complete the deed we're looking at here. Though, of course, I have other reasons of wanting to finish that Ent quest line, such as finding out how it ends. Because I think there's an instance or something like that at the end of it. But let me go along, pick this all up, turn this in, and see how it affects the deed log. I've collected the lumber. Let's place it into the lumber pile. Speak to Larch.
Greetings.
Indeed, Trestle Bridge looks much better now with all these scraps of wood and clutter picked up. There you go. And yes, it ticked from 12 to 13. So these little dailies do count in that, so I'll be able to finish those 2 deeds. And of course, the missions deed shouldn't be any trouble either. Now, I'm unlikely to do all of the missions on this character, but I will do one quick one now to check on that particular item. Let's see, we have these particular missions available. So let's start out with, let's do Svalsfang's Stand. And I'm choosing that one because this is by far the quickest of the missions. And we don't have much time left in today's episode. We have arrived. I have the summoning horn. Let's bring in the elf.
What can I do for you?
You could stay in place long enough for me to click on you, and we need to head on out ahead before we get crushed by boulders. Serpentine, right? Let's get up here quickly. I don't know what happens to you if you were in these when he throws the stone, but I don't want to find out. Where is my gold, orcs? Oh. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Well, I think I stopped him just in time there. Alright, where's my gold, orcs? I thought we had a deal. Show yourselves to me. Alright, so apparently the orcs wanted to buy him to help him with this, to cause trouble here. And of course, the orcs, I guess they decided having him angry and throwing rocks all over the place was pretty much what they wanted. And if he's going to do that without being paid, then why pay him? Well, then. Now, here's something that's different from the missions over in the Three Peaks area, and that is that the rewards chest is here even if you're not running at level cap, because when I was doing them on the Elder Slate area, I've only seen that come up at level cap. Yes, let's get out of here. I've gotten that one done, so let's do this. We've done well, Warden, was Vol saying. Defeated, perhaps the giant now understands that the Wildwood is no place for ruthless giants. And that opened up a new deed. Missions, the Wildwood, and I just need to complete each of the missions once in order to finish that deed. And that plus doing quests such as that, and that would be able to finish up that deed. Let me do a quick check on this. I delivered some meats to the children, and I just finished collecting some crates. So I just need to turn this in, and I think that will give me the 15 quests to complete the Woodcutter's Brotherhood and give me 2 of the 4 portions of the deed to be completed.
What can I do for you?
There we go. Completed that. So deed completed. The Woodcutter's Brotherhood. So I think that means then that quests in Wildwood, 2 of the 4 done. I think I'll head over to the wharf and do the other side. I've done all of the quests that are over here, and 14 to 15. So it looks like I won't be able to finish the quest deed here today. So what I'll do is we will complete this quest deed in the next episode and also run a couple of missions to take care of the mission side of this deed. And that way we will finish up the deed for doing quests within the Wildwood. And that'll be in our next episode of Wandering the Wildwood.